Cricket is a gentleman's game. Tell me one thing. I ask you to imagine a person who is a cricketer. Be very truthful with me. How many of you have thought that the cricketer is a female? I'm sure that 99% of you have thought about a male cricketer. This is a subconscious bias that we all have been living with. A subconscious bias that is actually a product of our environment, the circumstances, the social structure, and also the policy framework lack. This all has given birth to a gender bias in cricket also. Now it's high time that we stop calling it a gentleman's game. By the name itself, we can know that we are biased towards men. Why is women cricket not as popular as their male counterparts? Also, what can we do to mitigate the situation with respect to it? And why do we need to do more than we already are doing? From the perspective of GS Mains Paper 4, essay, and many other perspectives, it is important that we understand it at the backdrop of the World Cup. Do you know that India is going to host the Women's World Cup in the years to come? You have to tell me in the comment segment just now what is that here. Moving on, let's talk about it from a detailed perspective. Also, do not worry about notes because I provide the notes through my Telegram channel, Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any queries regarding this examination, you can talk to me on my Instagram. Follow me on Threads. The men cricket started as early as 1611. The female cricket came at a much later pace because women are supposed to be in the kitchen. Women were supposed to be in the kitchen, not anymore. Women were not supposed to go outside to play. They did not have as much access as boys have. From the very beginning, it is okay for the boys to play, but for the women or girls, they have to stay in the kitchen, help with the household. Now, this is a problem that is manifesting itself not only in various fields but also in the field of cricket. It was only in the year 1934 that a significant development around cricket happened, women's cricket happened, when Australia and New Zealand Cricket Board decided to establish their teams. In 1958, the world's first Women's Cricket Council was formed. India and West Indies formed theirs in 1973. Ireland in 1982, Denmark in 1983, and Pakistan and Sri Lanka only in the year 1997. They established their own women's cricket organization. So this has been the trajectory. It is pretty new. So there is a huge gap between men's cricket and women's cricket for the very same manner, for the very same matter, that the lag of years is a lot. We are still in a nascent phase of getting exposed to women's cricket. The first for about India, the first interstate women's nationals was held in Pune, in which 3 teams participated in early 1970s. Then in 1974, interzonal limited overs tournament was named Rani Jhansi Trophy. Before this, when another round happened in Varanasi, we got an increase from 3 teams to 8 teams. Then inter-university tournament was held in Rajkot. Even under 15 and under 19 tournaments were also organized. But we traveled to the World Cup as well. Now we will know about the achievements of the women's cricket team also. Also, I would like to suggest that if you haven't taken admission in any of the P2I batches as of yet, we are launching it from 10th of October. This will be an evening batch. And the batches are divided into segments: silver section, gold section, and platinum. Silver will be for 1 year, gold will be for 1 year as in 18 months, 1.5 you can call it, gold for 30 months, and platinum for 42 months. These P2I batches will not only include GS, but CSAT, ethics, essay, language papers. Your interview preparations will be also done. For those of you who will qualify the UPSC Prelims examination for silver batch 2024, 2025 for gold and so on for platinum, you will also be called for the residential program of StudyIQ with no added charges. That means you will be lodged at StudyIQ campus. We will take care of you. You just have to prepare for the mains examination. Silver ones cost 23,999 Gold 26,999 and platinum is just for 29,999. The validity is for 42 months. And you have to use the code PDLive if you want to get it at these particular price. Okay, make sure you do that. Moving on. Now the journey from a nascent, a baby team to a giant, let's talk about it. We played women's cricket team, a 3-test match series against Australia's under 25. Australia toured India when it toured India. We also played against England, New Zealand, West Indies. Of course, we couldn't win many. In 1978, the Women's Cricket Association of India also got recognized by the International Women's Cricket Council. They won there after many failures and a lot of effort. They won their first ever one-day international series in the centenary celebration of New Zealand cricket in 1995. Significant personalities who contributed to this win was Shanta Rangaswamy, Diana Idilji, Sudha Shah, and Sandhya Agarwal. They were all awarded Arjuna Awards. And this was a great moment. Then we also went to World Cup finals in 2005 and 2017. Last time, New Zealand hosted the World Cup in 2022. So the team has also made it to the finals of the Women's T20 World Cup for the first time in history in the last few years. We won the silver medal at the Commonwealth Games in England. We also won the Asia Cup. Everything was conquered. But still, there was a huge gap. Can you tell me even more than 4 women cricketers? No, you can't. Because it's not our fault. It's the fault of the society as a whole. The society which lacked encouragement when it comes to the feminization of sports. Sports is a no-go in India. It's a no-go zone. You just have to be educated. You either have to become an engineer or a doctor. What else you can do with your life? Even if you're good at sports, but you're not scoring well, you wouldn't be as valuable. This is an ongoing thrust in our minds that have been given since the very beginning of our childhood. So this is one of the reasons why sports is a no-go zone for anyone in India. For females, it is much harder. Moving on. India's women's team is ranked 4th in both the ODI and T20 rankings. Also, the next ICC Women's Cricket World Cup will happen in 2025. We will host it. India will host it. Sri Lanka will host the ICC Women's T20 Champions Trophy in 2027. This could be asked in your examination. We have been seeing that UPSC is now romanticizing and in love with cricket also. So you have to work accordingly. Bangladesh will be hosting the Women's T20 World Cup for the second time around. Now let's dissect the reasons, the actual reasons. Why is this happening? Why do we not see the women's cricket team gaining as much popularity as the men's cricket team? Of course, sports in India and around the world, it's not only just specific to India, it's omnipresent. It is a male-dominated zone. Since the very childhood, as I have iterated in the past, I'm reiterating it. It has always been the domain of boys. Boys were allowed to go and play outside, while women, from the childhood itself, they were hidden inside the houses, inside their homes. And what happens? That this, even if somebody may think that they are not biased, there is a subconscious bias. One that you do not act upon, but you may think it to be. How many of you who are girls and women, how many of you have actually played cricket or were encouraged to play cricket? It's generally the boys. It is the boys who do that. Because this is not how our society worked. Because we couldn't see anyone as our role model from the very beginning that yes, I have to go in this field because women in this field are working very well. They are doing very well. They are getting a lot of attention, garnering a lot of support. So we have to make sure that we do it now. We make sure that our kids, either male or female, they know about the women cricketers. Why should they not deserve accolades? Why should they not deserve any sort of attention? Just because of their genders? Also, India, I have already said that it's saying no to sports. Now the times are changing, and because of the glamorization of one sport over the other as well, women can lag behind. Right now in Asian Games, we are doing very well. Women are doing very well. Now we have to replicate that in cricket as well. Our national game is hockey, but how many of you are even interested in hockey? In India, cricket, which is a colonial legacy, is treated as, religion, and the cricketers as gods. What about the goddesses? We also have to see that there is a lack of proper backing from the BCCI. It was only last year when India's women cricketer started receiving the same amount as match fee as men. We were so late to implement gender parity in even the pay scale. Now this is feminization, or this is, you can say, you all give a bad name to feminists. This is what feminism is. Making sure both the genders are treated equally. We are given equal opportunities when it comes to any area. Being equal doesn't mean that physiologically we have to be, equal. I want to, punch somebody in the same with the same intensity as any man would do. This is not gender parity. Gender parity is when you are getting equal opportunity, when you are getting recognized for the equal amount of the work that you are doing as your male counterpart. If two people, A and B, are doing the same work, they have the same qualification, they have the same experience, but just because of their genders, one is man and another is woman, if they are not getting opportunities, if they are not getting equal pay, then this is not gender parity. Okay, you have to keep that in mind. So as you see, for test, now women will receive this much. This is an increase of 275% from the old one, 4 lakh only. Now it's 15 lakh. For ODI, one day international, now it is 6 lakh. Earlier it was 1 lakh. Now this is a 500% increase. T20, 3 lakh new. Earlier it was 1 lakh. This is a 200% increase. We have become the second country in the world after New Zealand to make sure that women cricketers are paid equally as their male counterpart. Just the second. See, India is still doing better, but we have been late. Other countries, for their contract cricketers, what are they doing for their women contract cricketers? India's patriarchal setup. Of course, patriarchy actually manifests in many regions. It could be education, where supposedly a man and a woman, we have our own struggles. Both the genders have their own struggles if we compare these two genders. Then what happens that we cannot say that your struggles are equal, better, worse than mine, or my struggles are worse than yours. It cannot be treated as that. We both have our own struggles. Female struggle has to do with patriarchy. That what is patriarchy? Patriarchy is when you are treating women not at par with men. This is the only thing that patriarchy is. When you do make sure that you are treating everybody equally, the men and the women, you are a feminist. Feminism is equality only. Not that females should be above men. It's not that. It has gotten a bad name in the recent past because of certain very reactive people, but that is not feminism. Okay. No fan following means no sponsors. We know that there are so many male cricketers that have such a huge fan following. What about female cricketers? Do female cricketers have equal fan following? Does our film industry give female cricketers as much glamour exposure as they do to the male counterparts? No. When you do not have a fan following, when you know that you're not popular enough, maybe you will get no sponsors. Cricket is a game. It is about hard work. It is about making sure that the international community is coming together and uplifting each other. This is what cricket is. So we need to make sure we give more sponsorship. We need our Chak De movement in cricket as well. Chak De movement happened for, of course, hockey. We need something for cricket as well. Moving on. Now, if we talk about what can be done, of course, we have to start from the grassroots level. We have to enthuse our children, male and female, to make sure that they know about cricketers, female cricketers and female idols, so that we can bring up very, awakened children. That is why it is important to make sure from the very beginning in schools, at homes, we watch women cricket along with our children. This is one of the most important things that we can do. We can have quizzes in schools about female cricket and other female sports along with men's. What's wrong with that? Also, feminization of cricket is the need of the hour. Incentives can be given to attend the matches. Incentives can be given to broadcasters. Incentives can be given to OTT. That means we have to first, at a nascent stage, popularize this sport that yes, women also can do this. Then equal pay, which has already been done. Of course, it was pretty late. Not only in India we have to do it, but around the world. For this, we need sponsorship as well. When sponsorship will increase, of course, the heft of that game will also increase, because this will feed into the perspective that yes, this game is valuable. Anybody who will feel valuable, of course, they will do well. Now, female cricket has to develop itself as their own institution. We have to be independent from the male cricket. That is what we have to do. We cannot see it just as an offshoot of male cricket. We have to build our own institution. Then also we have to engage the stakeholders, the academics, the film industry, the advertisement industry, the OTT platforms, so that we can all come together and popularize and advertise about the sport, and glamorization is also needed. Anything that looks good in India will of course sell, and that is a human nature. Moving on. Now you have to write an essay. It's high time we stop calling cricket a gentleman's game. You have to write an essay on it. Contact me through my Instagram, or if you're already on my Telegram, you can send me the answers and I will check it for you. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Stay updated.